Welcome along to Bangkok Chit Chat, and today, as you can see, we have a full house. With me, as always, Andrew Sloan, my co-host. We've dragged in from Pattaya, our Pattaya reporter, Craig, who's actually dragged our guest today as well. And I'd like to say hello and welcome to Bryan Flowers.
Drag. Your choice of words is awful, but okay, on you go.
Okay, God, just as I'm in the flow there. Bryan Flowers, CEO of the Nightwish Group. So welcome, thanks for joining.
Thank you, it's nice to be here.
All right, well, we're going to talk obviously about how you started and why you chose Pattaya and all that stuff. But I'll start off with one question, because this is the first question that came to mind when I knew I was going to be talking to you. The industry that you are in, for some people, is not exactly the ideal industry that they would choose or would want to be associated with, okay? We'll leave it at that. Do they in any way hinder your progression in what you do?
We have a lot of problems from people, but the reason why I went into this is I had Pattaya Addicts first, and then I was doing SEO, and then it just didn't make sense doing SEO and having problems off Google all the time. And I had all of these members, and they all wanted a decent bar to go to, so I didn't really choose to go into bars. It just felt like that was a best choice at the time.
Pattaya Addicts, could you explain what that is?
Pattaya Addicts is a forum with 120,000 members. I started it 14 years ago. That's why I had the ability to come to Pattaya and try and make an income off it. And I was selling advertising, but then banner advertising changed a little bit, and I just thought the only way to survive was having a bar. And I didn't want to have a bar, but I actually enjoyed going to some. And I got involved in a few, helping them out, and I thought I could do this. And every time I went to bars, they were full instantly because people just knew me from doing bar crawls. And then I thought, well, why don't I have my own bar? And I expected to make 20,000 a month. And at the time, 20,000 a month and doing some SEO, I thought that's enough to get by. But I was surprised when I opened the bar and the sales were going up every day.
Potential, yeah.
So can you tell me why you actually came to Thailand?
I was at the university, Worcester University, and I only went there for fun. And one of my friends watched the beach movie with me, and he said, let's go to a nice country. He wants to go to the full moon party. And I just said, I just want to party and spend loads of money and just live like a king for a while. So we decided to go to Bangkok first, Koh San Road, and then we did the trail to Koh Phangan.
Where was that, roughly? What year?
12 years ago.
All right, okay.
And then after like 3 weeks, my friend went back home, and then I said, I'm not going back to uni. I'm going to stay here. And everyone told me, don't go to Pattaya. So I went to Pattaya on my own. And everyone was just saying it's dirty, it's filthy, and all of these other things. So I said, I'm going to have to go see it. And then I spent 3 months there, and I just ran out of my money. I didn't really have much at the time. I was making money online. And then I went back to England, and I thought, I just hate this town so much, but I just knew that it was home for me. And then I went back again twice, and I hated it both times, but I just knew that.
Why did you hate UK?
I didn't have the right
Boring,
friends. I'm not a sociable person. I struggle to, make friendships. So I just don't go into bars and just hang out. So I didn't really know that many people. I had no support here. I had like 2 friends when I arrived through the forum that I created. So after my 3rd trip, I created a forum, and then I came out to move on my own after the forum was about 2 years old. And it was the forum that gave me the platform to make some money.
What age were you then? About 22, 23?
25.
25.
I was 23 when I first came here. I was 25 when I moved here. But that was like a month before my birthday, so.
It's a common story, because I came here when I was 21. I didn't go back.
Yeah. Oh, I was a late developer in that. I was 30 when I came here, but I'm now 67. I've been here a long, long time.
It's the best time to come because you haven't got the roots, you haven't got anything to walk away from.
Commitments and things like that.
I put the stuff in my mum and dad's loft. I moved out of the student house and I just put everything upstairs, and I said, I'm going to go out there and move, and I had 30,000 baht, so I had nothing to lose. So I had to work, and I've wrote several times about guys coming here with nothing. It's the best strategy, and people just say you can't. I say that's the best way, because then you'll wake up every day, you're motivated. I had nightmares that I woke up in England, and I just jumped out of bed and went straight down the
I haven't
office.
seen Nate. There's been a Scot. Yeah.
Where in England, by the way, are you from?
Coventry in the Midlands.
I was trying to get the accent and couldn't quite, but I knew it was that way.
But the idea with Pattaya Addicts, that was something that was born out of going backwards and forwards, was it? You said that was on the third time you came here and you decided to start it, which, as you say, gave you the platform to move on. You were still running it from the UK, were you? That's what you were doing at the time. And how did you get people to sign up? How did it work, really?
I met a guy in Pattaya on my third trip, I think it was, and he said that he's on this forum called Pattaya Talk. So I went on Pattaya Talk, which was the oldest forum at the time, and then there was Pattaya Secrets as well, and they both had about 7,000 members each. And then I made a website called Thailand World, and I was uploading documentaries. I was on YouTube uploading Coyote Girls dancing from the CDs. I had all these documentaries online. I cut loads of videos together. Back then, YouTube didn't care about anything. And then on Pattaya Talk one day, you know, I was like 24 years old, 23, 24, and I had all these grown men bullying me all the time, just attacking me. And I just said, why don't everyone show their faces? Why do we have to be so horrible to each other? And then one day I got a warning and I felt like I was defending myself. So I said, right, okay then. And I downloaded a nulled version of Envision and I uploaded it to this server, and it said unlimited, and we kept on getting cut off, and I didn't know why, because it's not really unlimited. And then after a month of like hard work, I got these moderators on and admin on board. We did the structure so well, and we were getting like 20, 30 new members a day. People were just pouring in, and we were literally working 16 hours a day. So I wasn't working at the time, and people said, you know, you should sell advertising.
Well, I was about to say, did you monetize it?
Yeah, I refused to. I was just so anti-money at the time. I just said, I don't want money for it. I love Pattaya. This is for me. And then when the server bill came, it was like, well, who's going to pay it? I wasn't working.
Sounds like a typical 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Business 101.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like you said before, you learn on the job, don't you?
Yeah, and my parents just said, get a job. And then I had these YouTube videos with links in. I did competitions to get other people to make YouTube videos. And literally, we were just like clicking refresh in the admin area, watching members coming in, welcoming, messaging them, telling everyone to put their face up and be real, and just saying we don't want trolls on there. Of course, there is negativity on there, just like YouTube and everywhere else. But that went to the biggest forum quite quickly because I learned SEO and I learned how to get more people on there. And the other forums were ran by older guys, and they didn't really care as much as I did. They were just floating along.
Yeah.
So we went to the
You
biggest
had a real
forum.
business plan, yeah.
So how long was it before you started your first bar? When you actually said, I want to own a bar, I want to do it. How did that sort of come about?
I got involved in another bar and it didn't work out. And I just thought, I can do this myself. You know, I got ridiculed for having a notebook out there and making notes and having proper business meetings. And it was like, you know, why are you doing all this? You know, why don't you just like get drunk, and why are you being so serious? And I said, we're trying to run a business here. We need meetings, we need metrics, we need all these things. And it's like, oh, you know, who cares about that? So one guy on our forum was selling a bar on Soy 6, and another friend had a bar on Soy 6. And I just said, every time I go down Soy 6, the bar's full, because I'm a walking meeting point. I was doing bar calls every Friday for 2 years, and I was doing parties at a go-go. And then when I opened the bar, we were just full every day. So that's the reason why we've gone from one bar to so many over the last 7 years, is because we're just doing it so well. And then, you know, you get a problem off a neighbour, so why don't we be our own neighbours?
Yeah, but wasn't it a matter of maybe some of the bars also weren't doing very well and were quite happy to sell? Because, you know, what makes a good bar and not a good bar? And you say, because we run it like a corporation, we do the metrics. And obviously, not everyone runs bars like that. And is that why they go under?
I use the word hobbyist for a lot of bar owners. I feel that people have like a 2-year shelf life when they're running bars. So I see a lot of owners, they're there for 2 years, and after that they get tired, they get bored, and then they're not there so much, and then their sales drop. But the way we run it is we've got managers in the bars. After about 2-3 years, they tend to get sick of it, and then they move on. So we've always got people in our bars, whereas other bar owners, there's no one in there. You need someone in there because some guys, like the women will hook guys into the bars, but there's only so much you can talk to women for. some guys want to have a laugh with a manager, you know, the guys from England, the guys from Norway, and then they become a meeting point for...
As in a landlord in a pub, right? He sort of talks to all
becomes
his
becomes your
customers.
local. It becomes their local.
Yeah.
Because we were talking earlier on. You said there's different classes of bars, yeah, and you say you're more of the beer bar, yeah, than you are of a go-go bar, yeah, because the go-go is all closed down. You're more open.
Yeah, I
Open
would
bars,
say
yeah.
a go-go's just like, you know, dancing routines, and it's closed, and there's a bit more skin showing. And then the beer bars is... the beer bars, to me, it reminds me of the open beer bars on Soy 7 or 8. But we're still in that classification, because even though we're in proper units, we're still just operate as beer bars. And then you've got gentlemen's clubs in Pattaya, sports bars, nightclubs, and there's only so many categories.
Do you have a food
Right.
license?
No, in one of the bars in an outside area, you can't get an entertainment license. So other people have food licenses, but we managed to get a nightclub license. So no, we have no food there and no food license.
So you've got so you've now got 24, yeah, 24 bars, and you've got you're aiming to get about 65. That's off of the website. Is that still your plan, considering the COVID situation?
Yeah, well, since I wrote that, I've kind of changed my mind, but I leave these things up because I change my mind all the time. Sometimes I'm having a bad week and I just have enough, and then sometimes I feel like, you know, we need to buy more, because if we promote the whole soy, then the rest of our bars do better. So having more bars on the same soy means that the other bars will do better. Like some people say, well, why are you greedy? But when you have problems off your neighbours, you'll pay anything to get rid of that problem. And if your neighbour says, hey, do you want to buy off me? It's like, yeah, okay then. Then that's one less problem in our life. And then we create a hotspot because we've got 3-4 bars together.
So these 20, 24, 26 bars you've got, they're all in soy 6?
23's in soy 6 and one's outside soy 6, and the
You
five.
must have about 80% of the whole street then.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. How many bars are there?
I think there's 84. We've got 33%.
Get a members card or something like that, so you can go to different places.
We've got 33% on the right hand side.
All right, so you're doing other things as well. You've got the Pattaya News, yeah, which is very strong on Twitter. I see as well. Yeah.
Yeah, AJ's very good on Twitter.
Yeah. So Pattaya News, and then you've got your Pattaya Addicts, etc. What other things are you actually doing?
We've got the Pattaya News in Thai, which is quite big, and that's separate because foreigners are interested in different stories.
Yeah.
So we have like 2 or 3 times the amount of news on the Thai side, and that's a completely different team. It's not a translation because it's totally different. Thai's like news, like a statement. This is what happened, this is a time, but Farang's like a story. They want to hear why. Why did he do that?
Right.
Where did he come from? How did it end?
Right.
And then we've got automatic translations in 7 languages on the English side, which is quite costly, but it's pretty good. We've got TPN National News, which is only a month old. That we've got the same team as the Pattaya News for that. And we do hope to get more writers when we've got some more money coming in. And because we've got the national news, we've also got Bangkok News in Thai for Thai people, which is separate. But because we've got Bangkok News coming into the English side, I said, okay, let's do a Thai side too.
Okay, so with all these things you're doing, you're rushed off your feet. So how would you define, to general, what would you define as being success? Is it the amount of money you've got, or is it the happiness, or is it achievement? What do you define as being success?
I think it's health and fitness, and having the ability to choose what you do on a day. My son's 1 year and 5 months, and I have the time to spend with him this time. My other son, I didn't get much time with him.
Right. So what is your sort of plans? What's the next thing you want to do?
I want to grow the news. I want to get the national news bigger, and we've been approached by an investor to do news in different areas. So I said to him, if you want me to, I can do news in Chonburi, and if he wants to pay for advertising on that and cover the expense, I can do that too. But right now we're trying to get the national news, the TPN national news big. Mm-hmm. And then the Thai side is never going to make any money, but that's very important. We have a lot of authorities on there.
We seem to be doing a lot of it out of love.
I do. It's never been about money. When I bought a bar, I just wanted to have fun, and when I made the forum, it was about fun, and then when I did the news, it was just about having some connections and some influence. Like during the COVID period, we haven't jumped on the panic station. We just tried to keep everyone calm, and we didn't do any clickbait. We did the honesty, and people were waiting for us to announce so they could know the truth, because people were jumping the gun all the time.
So basically, the main part of your business is the bars or the media side?
The media loses me money every month. The bars was making okay money, so the bars is my bread and butter. The news and the rest was a bit of fun.
Do you think one feeds the other in some ways, though? I mean,
The bars were feeding the news through my income, nothing to do with the bars. But since COVID hit, I've had to pay personally over 100k a month to keep the news going.
How much percentage-wise are you down during this COVID period, do you think?
In the bars, about 80%, I would say.
And are there other bars along that side that have just gone out of business?
We
Or
don't.
are they-
Nobody knows, because some people are just closing up for a short period.
Yeah.
And if they do close for good, they might be embarrassed to say so.
Not an opportunity for you to buy them?
We don't have the money, and we can't take the risk because we're not
you
paying
don't know
our
when
core
COVID's
team.
coming to an end either, do you? That's
That's
the thing.
right,
I
yeah,
mean, it would be okay if you said, okay, in a month's time or 3 months' time, tourists are coming back. But of course, everybody.
So
just
who
takes it
are
as it
your
comes.
customers at the moment that go into your bars? Are they Pattaya Farang locals, a Bangkok crowd a week? I don't know. What you tell me.
We're getting a couple of guys from Bangkok. It's mostly locals. We have a lot of people in Pattaya. I went on a 11-day tour around Thailand, and Pattaya was one of the best. We're one of the luckiest because we've just got so many people down there.
Many expats resident, yeah.
Yeah, I said one day there's probably 100,000 people there, and a few people
Oh, yeah.
left. But I
No, I would
think
say
I
so.
think it might be closer to 200,000 because I live on East Pattaya and I see people all over the place. I go to the Thai polo place for my son to learn, and there's a whole network of people
a different
out there.
group of people as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the golf in Pattaya as a whole. I mean, I think I'd heard once it might have been toned down because of COVID, but there was 54 bars running golf societies. Out of that, you've got a sweet spot of 20 to 30 people going out 4 to 5 times a week. Now, okay, some of that is tourists and some of that is people that maybe come for the winters, but there's still going to be a good percentage of those people who are locals, like you say, who are residents. You look at the pool leagues, you look at the number of teams that are in the pool leagues, the number of pool leagues that are operating, and again, it's sort of 60-70% Farang. So,
Have you ever? Do you have to re-look at your pricing at all? Has it got lower? In other words.
Yeah, because I've always found Pattaya cheaper than Bangkok.
oh god, yeah.
So much cheaper. I mean, someone turned around and said it's probably cheaper to eat Falang food in Pattaya than it is Thai food.
I think the variety is maybe. But
yeah.
my point is though, are you reducing your prices because of COVID?
No, this is
More happy hours, that sort of thing.
this is a point where I've been in business for 7 years now. I've tried free things. We've tried discounts. We've tried special cocktails, and I've never found any of it works. And people say to us, "Well, you should be offering discounts," but from my experience over these 7 years, if you're going down Soy 6 and you see a girl you like somewhere else, that's it. You're going to go in there. You're not going to say, well, hang on a minute, I'm just going to go down there because it's 10 baht cheaper.
Yeah.
You go to where you want to because of the girls or the managers in there. And people say to me, you need to give discount, but we're paying salaries and we're paying all these other things. And if we give discount, we're just going to cut our own throats. And there's a price war on LK Metro at the moment, and it doesn't really do any favours for the business owners. Yes, the customers win, but the problem is if we did a discount, like for example on LK Metro, someone's doing 44 baht beers, those
Yeah,
44 baht, and there was another place
said it was
doing
cheap.
20 baht beers. But the problem is that the guys going in there, they're not looking to splash out on ladies. So you're going to get a bar full of guys that have just come there to have a drink, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But your girls
They're
are
not going to buy
well,
the girls a drink and all that. And what you've done, I think, is you've created a scene which is a daytime scene. You know, it's where people will go at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
get their
Whereas
beer
all the
buzz.
other bars, the happy hours, are there to bring people into the bars at the times you wouldn't normally expect them. Whereas I guess in Soy 6, people purposely go there at 2 or 3 o'clock. And like Bryan says, you know, buying the girls a drink and that sort of thing is part of what they're there for. And if a guy's going to be bothered about 10 baht on a beer, he's not going to spend 140 or 150 buying our one, is he?
Girls will leave if they have all these customers that aren't buying drinks around. It's
Well,
just
that's
the way
a
it is.
question. How? I mean, what you read in the paper is that Pattaya and the hotel, the entertainment, let's say the tourism industry, basically they're losing jobs left, right, and centre, and everyone's moving up country. Now, I've spoken to some people here who own restaurants and things like that, and they've actually turned around and said, "Listen, the hotels are wanting staff, and the restaurants are wanting staff, and they can't find them. They've all gone. They don't want to come back. They're calling them up and saying, you know, we had to shut. We're opening up now. Are you coming back to work? Nope. So even today in the newspaper, there's going to be lots of people out of work. There's a lot of people just don't want to work.
Well, I've seen you advertising for staff.
Are you
right?
seeing that?
You're advertising for staff.
We always advertise, and when we had 400 or 500 girls when we closed our bars, and the government decided that we need to send them all home back to the village, which I think is a bad idea if there was COVID around. And then after, I thought all these girls would come back, but they're not. Some of them work in the 7-Eleven, petrol stations. Some are just terrified. If you watch the Thai news, they're just terrifying everyone. Even our video editor, I had to talk to him one day. He's putting all this tragic music on over, some simple news, and I just say to him, stop panicking, people. Just there's no point in it.
So this is true. It's difficult to find staff
yes.
because they're scared or they've gone up country. So this is actually quite a cool period just now. And mum and dad will take care of me, and that's it.
Or I'll take care of mum and dad.
Well, there was one girl that was making
earn money there, haven't they?
She was making 200,000 a month during non-COVID period, and then she said, "Well, I can only make 50,000."
I couldn't sell my body for that.
She said, "I can only make 50,000 a month now."
No
So she
comment,
said, "There's
right.
no point coming." It's just
So that's a very good question. On average, how much would a girl be earning in size 6?
it's very difficult to say, because I believe the top 10% of go-go's, bars, hotels, and restaurants are all killing it. So it's the same with ladies. The top 10% are making this unusually insanely amount, because
How much would that be?
we've had one girl that was making 400k a month, but she's an anomaly. There's some of our girls will make 300k a month, but then you've got some girls that will just make 40,000 a month. When I say just, it's still a lot of money for a Thai, but they haven't reached their potential because they haven't got their makeup right, and maybe they're a bit chubby, or maybe their English isn't good enough, because if they know English, then they've got guys from abroad sending them money, and a lot of these girls have guys supporting them from England and other places now, and that's another reason why some aren't coming back. We've actually lost a few girls to our live streams. Guys are messaging them on Facebook, and the guys like, "Oh, I'll take care of you." And we've had a few guys that have never been to Thailand before, and now they're sending a girl money, which good luck to her.
Here's a question, you can answer it or not, and it's something that we all get asked. They talk about the side of the girls who, well, you provide the venue, and then they do what they want to do. Yeah, that's the principle of it. Now, they say, the ethical side, these poor girls, they have to be there, they're in bondage and all this sort of stuff. I know that's crap. I know there is some Thai places that, especially maybe about 20, 30 years ago, where they found people chained to the bed. Remember down in...
Called the dungeon.
No. This is a true thing down in the south.
Wasn't
far
Andy
south.
chained to the bed, was
So
it?
it
Was
was in
that the
Songkla.
story you were thinking of?
I got a great story about that.
It was in Songkla. They actually found them. The building went on fire, and the girls couldn't get out because they were chained. Right? So there's people trafficking. Now, you don't have them on bondage. You got no. I don't mean actually physically, but I mean financially on bond or anything like that. They don't have to pay something or put money down, or they basically they can come and go as they like.
Yeah, they do. If a girl wants to leave, join the salary, then they don't get their full salary, but we pay them up to date and take the cuts out. But our adverts pretty much say what happens, and then when they contact the person on the advert, they're told exactly what's expected of them.
Right.
So there's a big filter going on there. It's very, very rare where we get a girl turn up and say, "Well, I didn't know that," and then they leave.
I mean, I think at this point is because we've got to actually hurry up a little bit. But were talking off camera about how you run this business as a corporation, and you have HR departments and everything else. So there is no difference from one of your employees is the same as working in a bank or working in a 7-Eleven or a chain of. There's no difference.
When I started this business, we were just having so much fun, and I can't really say the things that we did on the camera, but you know, like for example, we had the cashier drunk, and it'd be funny, but then the cashier's drunk, who's going to do it now? And let's get the cleaner, you know, having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Let's you know, let's do all these stupid things, and it was like it's fun until a problem goes wrong. And then we didn't want to do clocking cards because we just thought we should all trust each other. But then people start messing around, and then we introduce the clocking cards, and then people are cheating it. So we have more rules. So I don't like having these rules or corporate structure, but just over the years, it's like, okay, so this is getting broken here. We need to fix this. And now we have all these documents and sheets. So we have rules for managers and procedures and checklists for them. We have the same for cashiers, the same for our recruiters, what to say, you know, almost like a sales pitch. You tell them the expectations, tell them what you're going to do when you get
obviously,
here.
that's why you are successful. This works.
Well, it's procedures, isn't it? A procedure manual.
As opposed to as a hobby, as you said.
Yeah, and some people don't like that, but we've had no choice. We've had to evolve over the years to have structure, and we've had to put all these rules in place because something always happens.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous, though, because if they say they don't like it, as a customer, ultimately by having those procedures in place, you're providing a better venue, right?
Better service,
so therefore, if you've got a better venue, people are going to have a better night.
Yes, we do, but it's like the security. Someone says that, why do we have so many security? And I said, that's for your protection. We've only had 2 incidents where, you know, the security ended up hitting someone because they got punched in the face quite hard. And our security have even been punched in the face and they haven't even reacted. We tell our security no fighting at all. But obviously if they're getting attacked, then they have no choice.
That's self-defense. Yeah.
Since we have a security in there, people just pay. Like sometimes they don't want to pay, but when a security's sitting outside, they do want to pay.
Yeah.
We have girls that are locked in rooms and they feel uncomfortable and they want the security to come and get them. We've had guys that don't want to pay the girls. We've had girls attacked. We had a girl attacked last month, and the security turned up and they got attacked too, and the whole thing turned into a mess.
And I guess another thing as well on the other side of the fence is, you know, it's only ever happened to me once in the whole time in Pattaya, in a bar in LK Metro, which obviously I won't name in case I get something libelous coming on my way. But where basically you've been charged too many beers, you know, where you've had your bills come, and they, instead of putting 1 beer every time, they've put 2 on. And, you know, you get into an altercation, there's security there, and you're having to explain things. I'd imagine, again, having processes in place, that won't happen, or you've at least got a manager or somebody that's able to moderate that situation the right way, yeah? If a mistake has been made, a genuine mistake has been made, because of course they do.
The way we deal with that, we've got electronic, and there's timestamps on there, and then we have cameras, so the managers have access to the cameras, so they can quickly cut a little piece out. Like if we have a fight in the bar, before the police come, the manager's already cut the piece of video out to show to the police. You know, if it's very rare that happens. And then, so if there is a problem like that, we've got a general manager at night time that doesn't drink alcohol, and he floats around the soy, because what we found, the managers drink as part of their job.
Yep.
He turns up, he's got a nightwish top on, he's sensible and he's a listener. And then, so when you have a problem, you face Gary, and then Gary can take care of his situation. Whereas a drunk manager, he's entertaining his guys.
Yes, yes.
He's not going to be the best guy to deal
You may
with.
make the wrong decision.
Again, it's another
Yeah.
you know, smart process that you've got in place, which gives the customer the you know, the comfort and then.
Okay, so something else is about, you know, just now there's no tourists, yeah, or very few tourists. We're all aiming at local people, and I think you've probably answered the question in that the strategy to deal with this has been, you've been focusing on your local clients, yeah? So how have you been dealing with it? How, are you marketing to the Bangkok crowd more now, and also the Pattaya, or what's your strategy to stay alive, survive, yeah?
We haven't really done much. I've got this website called Pattaya Unplugged, which is underneath the Nightwish group, and there's 3 of us that write on there, and we try and promote that way. And we've literally stopped all of our advertisements, so we don't feel that I think everyone around at the moment knows that we exist. But what we've been doing is we've got YouTube channels. We've been uploading videos constantly on all 13 channels. We've got Telegram. The reason why we're doing 13 is because we've only got 13 bars open. The other 11 are closed. And we're borrowing Facebook pages from the closed bars to put videos up. And then we've got a Telegram group with 2,000 people in it. And we're continuing to put photos on there. And for the first time ever, all the managers are uploading videos of girls dancing. We've got them on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and we've got a few other channels where we're uploading everything to.
Right.
So that's what we're doing at the moment, is we're just making videos. But before, we didn't have the time to do that.
That's revenue generating.
No, it won't make revenue, but it will bring some guys in, because the girls are dancing, and then guys, they want to come in and meet them. I think, well, when Pattaya opens again, you're going to get this massive load of people coming down, and it's going to attract even more guys, because the sheer amount of people will be coming. But with the live streams, we've had probably 200-300 people that we know of that have seen our live streams, and they're going to come to Pattaya. They're buying ladies drinks, they're building relationships already.
Online, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so I believe that through these extra 10,000 likes on each page we're getting, and all these new people, and all these guys that are bored at home. One of my friends has a very large news company in England, and his entire team are watching the live stream every day. I won't mention the company name, but
It should be working.
all of his staff, they want to go here now, and that's
Right.
just one example of one person that I know. So I think there's going to be this massive momentum of new people coming.
But with that happening, and people are watching it, seeing the girls dancing, and all, is that what, I mean, you've just had Pornhub close, yeah? Is that really what the ties, will they not block you? Because they don't want that image going out about Thailand.
No, I think, no, I don't, it's just dancing. There's no, like, we're in the Facebook rules. So there was a place doing private shows, and they were charging 1,000 baht per person, and they had 70 people per time, per day, and YouTube just shut them down in the end. But I reckon they were making 150,000 a day. And they were doing this way before we were, because
But you're not doing nude, you're just doing dancing, yeah?
yeah, it's just dancing in the bar, and the girls are interacting, and it's all innocent, but that will make the guys think, you know, I want to chase this. I've built a relationship with Skill. I want to come along. If you're doing, you know, the naughty website where everything's exposed, then maybe the guy doesn't need to come because he's already got it satisfied. But these guys are building relationships with these girls. They're seeing these girls every day for a few hours at a time. They're bored. They're at work. You know, they're missing Thailand.
At work.
Yeah.
The boss must be going nuts.
The boss is watching too.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I also saw within your website, what you've also been doing is for your staff. A lot were hit. Maybe you've had to cut some salaries, whatever it is, like a lot of businesses have. But you've been supporting not just your 400 to 500 staff. Yeah. Some have gone up country, as you said, and you've also been supporting the community. What else have you actually been? What have you been doing?
We did the charity thing where we handed out 58,000 meals. We started off by putting 100,000 in, and then guys just kept on bringing money in, food down, and then we ran out of money after about 18 days. And then I was just so sick of all the negativity around, and our cashiers, they were bored. And they said, can we do it again? And I said, okay, I'll put a GoFundMe page up, a Go Get Funding page. And when you do something like that in Pattaya, you get attacked. But I thought, okay, you know, it doesn't matter. We're just going to do it anyway. And people can see how much we're spending. And because we're doing 1,200 meals a day, we got the price down really low, and guys are bringing in water. I said to people, just bring in whatever's on our list. And some guys were going to Macro with us, and guys were just sending all this money from abroad. And we just kept on buying more and more food. And I planned like 2 weeks in advance because I didn't want to beg people. So we had 2 weeks of money. We did 600 dry food, which was about 97 baht each, where you do the full packs.
Yeah.
And then the meals that we did every day included fruits, a meal, and a water. And it was about 13 bahts for all of that. The water alone is 4 baht. And then we went out into Nong Pru outside somewhere, and we handed out nappies and all these other things to adults that didn't have the support they had before. And then we went to Bong, another district, and we were doing 200 meals there every day for 11 days. When I say we, I was ill at the time, so I was just on my computer. We had managers helping and all the staff, and they were doing this every day, and they got some free food out of it, but you know, they were just plugging away.
Doing it? Are you still doing this just now? Or
No,
is it
because
last time a lot of people just left?
we didn't know when we were going to be able to open the bars. So I was like, okay, I'm going to let the money run out. So we'll continue until the money runs out.
Right.
I needed a week like in advance to get some money. But I also felt like people were tired. They, you know, why should they keep paying for this? You know, this. So in the end, we just said, okay, when the bars open, we'll stop it. But we stopped a week before because the bars didn't open again. And I thought, to get it started again, I've got to raise all that money, and the bars might open again. So we just stopped doing it, and almost everyone else has stopped doing it. There's only a few places doing it now.
Okay, just to sort of wind things up, we had a very interesting discussion before about how to improve Pattaya. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw the video. It was.
I can't remember what
we
they were.
we had disagreements, but one of the things was to do with the image, right, of Pattaya. It's probably seen as Sin City of the East. It's related, obviously, to sex and especially its old reputation, mafia orientated, and some bad boys. I'm talking about seriously bad boys, but also just naughty boys. Yeah, going there. Do you think this is fair? And what do you think? How do you think we can? How would you like to see it change?
People tell me about mafia, and when I first opened bars, people were saying about mafia, and I just don't, I just don't believe in all of that. But I feel that this is the core of Pattaya, whether people like it or not. And if you take this core out, everything else will collapse around it. People say that, yeah, there's other businesses going on. We don't have any professional building blocks there yet. The first one's on top of Harbour Mall, but loads of businesses are too embarrassed to have Pattaya on their business name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a couple of fashion people, and they're using Bangkok business names because the Thais look down on you for that. Farangs don't care so much. Yeah. So I think until that image changes, the businesses won't come down. And one reason why I like Bangkok is you've got loads of business-to-business stuff going on. But in Pattaya, you've got no choice. It's, do you open a bar or a restaurant as a Farang?
Do you think zoning would be, because we did talk to, I remember I was talking with Greg about this one, zoning in Pattaya, so you have an area for like a red light area zone, and you'd have, I think with what you do is acceptable anywhere, but do you think zoning would be would it work? Would it?
I think it's
like a Riviera, one area, then you could get the zone
I
of the
actually think
bars.
it should stay as it is, because I think when you talk about Pattaya and Pattaya City, and what Bryan says is obviously spot on when it comes to no businesses being there. But when you take the eastern seaboard, and you've got Lam Shabang, which is just down the road, you've got Amata not too far, you've got Rayong not too far, and you look at the area as a whole, there's a lot going on in the area as a whole when it comes to business, whether it's manufacturing or whatever types of business it might be. Then there's enough going on to keep Pattaya what it should be, a place where you go and you have a game of golf and you have a drink and you have some fun and you stay on the beach.
But you should have a theme. You should have some kind of some target for it, where you want it to be. I tend to agree with you. I think, I described it as a Las Vegas. Make it this sort of naughty place, yeah, and you can do what you want to do. Have nice restaurants, yeah. Have the shows and things like that, whether it's the Calypso or whatever, that kind of thing.
What we talked about, wasn't it? Is about whether, do you think it needs polishing, or do you think it's just actually sound the way it is at the moment? That's kind of what the discussion that we were having, yeah.
One thing with this COVID going on now is it's proven that theory is right, that we're the core of it. But the thing that's going to change soon is Hard Rock, as far as I know, is going to disappear.
I heard about that.
And the land next to it is going to be part of like some theme park or water park, or it might be Disney, or there's another place for Disney. So I think it will become more of a family place. But I think people think that Thais care what Farang think. But in my experience, they don't care as much. They care about what Thais think. On our Thai news, if we report something like rubbish or anything bad going on in Pattaya, City Hall clean it the next day because they had their friends saying, look at this news, that's disgusting. Whereas Farangs complain about things and they don't care so much because it's not within their life. So some of these changes is from Thais, caring, but the Thais don't have control over the leases of these places.
Yeah.
They can knock beer bars
Yeah,
down, but the only reason why they knock beer bars down is because a hotel owner comes to the landowner, like on Soy 7 and Soy 8, and then they buy it. With Soy 6, we've got real units owned by different landlords. And I don't feel that the government's going to ask to, knock that down.
Do you rent then?
Yeah, we rent.
On a lease basis?
Yeah, but they're not like beer bar tin shacks. We actually have proper leases.
Yeah, where you can you can't raise the whole sort of group of land like they did here on Soy 22, with
and you didn't get any let up by the landlord over COVID for your rent?
It's difficult to talk about that one because I already wrote. I spoke about that online and it cost me dearly. Put it this way: some landlords have been really bad. Some of our best landlords have been the worst, and some of our worst landlords have been the best.
Okay.
It's a challenge, and it's been a big stress for my wife and.
But if you say the land is sort of separate, then I guess in this situation, it doesn't mean that every single one of these is one of these mega families, does it? Whereas it's a bit different with the large areas of land, like you say, which might have 40 beer bars on. And if one guy owns the whole plot of land, they just go, right, raise the lot, or you're the one that's paying the rent to one guy. Whereas if you're paying it to this guy, he may have his own business, right, which he's got banks and all the rest of it, or is it mostly big money people who...
People say to me like, Soy 6 is sold, it's gone, it's going to be knocked down.
I've heard rumours about that as well for years.
You're always going to hear that, though, aren't you?
I've been saying about Patpong for how long? Goodness me, so...
I said to this guy, so you think that my landlord has sold the bar without telling me? And he's like, yeah, they're all in it together. I said, how can they convince 50 landlords to all sell quietly for the same price? Because if you pay one guy more, the other guy's going to, they're not stupid, they're going to find out how much each you're paying. Yeah, exactly. So why would they pay 15 million for 80 or 90 units when they can buy land next door, for a lot cheaper?
And ultimately they're getting paid a nice rent probably for what they're doing at the moment. COVID excluded, they're getting paid a decent rent for the size of the business, the size of the land they've got.
Well, who else? Yeah, I mean, what else would it be used for?
People talk about me at the land department. One of my landlord friends was down there and someone said, you need to buy down Soy 6. There's a Frang down there. He rents everything and he just he pays good money and he always pays on time. And my friend was just laughing because it's like when I got involved down there, it was 5 million a unit, and now they're asking for 15, but they're getting like 11 or 12, and the prices is just going up. But that's what happens when you change the dynamics of the soy and it's more successful. So it's just I can't be blamed for that. That's just the way business is.
Well, I've got written down here you plan 65. Is that over the next 3 months or 3 years?
If I had investors, which we're not looking for, then I would go ahead. But right now we're not paying people the full amount, so it'll be very rude and bad if we did have the money and we started buying more because. I haven't paid myself for 6 months, and my partners, they haven't been paid either. So we need to make everything right first. And I do believe in buying more, and I do think it's a good idea. But if this lasts for another 6 months or a year, our money's going to be depleted.
Well, so you're overall you're quite positive about the future.
Yeah, because we're doing live streaming now, and that's helping us a lot. And it's getting keeping the gills with us. Before, gills were just leaving, they get bored, they're not making money, but the live stream means that the gills are staying, so that's keeping us in business, even though we don't have enough to pay ourselves yet.
But you're positive about the whole party and things are going to come back. Yeah?
I think there's going to be massive...
We need some positive news, for God's sake. That's what we're all looking for, positiveness.
And would the plan literally be to own the strip almost?
I don't plan things...
But you're talking 65, you said there was 84 bars there. Is that about... I know what you're saying, there's not a sort of master plan, but if you said you want 65 bars, then there's, what do you say, 83 or 84 on Soy 6?
When I wrote that, we were going to do a group down Soy Tribune, and then we had other places, but we had a problem down Soy Tribune, and it kicked off big time like last month, and I just got rid of all 4 bars at the same time. So that Soy has had a massive hit. And we're not going to go back down there again, and we're just going to stay on Soy 6. So we don't plan to, push anyone out. But if people approach us, then we will buy more bars on the right-hand side, and then maybe we'll buy some.
I think we've got to leave there. We've gone a bit over time. First of all, Bryan, thank you ever so much for taking your time off, because I know you're a busy man. And I hope you guys found it interesting. We did. Thank you for coming along, mate.
all right.
Thank you as always, Andrew. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share. It's Bangkok Chit Chat. Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.